And when you look at this, let me borrow that for a second here.
Sure.
And one of the things that really bothered me was that when you look at this, what's going to happen, this scarring of our mountains is going to create an economic impact. And what the city of Azusa and Vulcan kept saying is you cannot discuss economic impacts and environmental
And they're
impact
right, you
report.
can't.
No, but that's not true.
It is true.
No, it's not.
Guys, let's not, this is his
Let's-
presentation. Let him
Okay,
present.
well, I know you disagree with this, but I just want to let me finish.
We're gonna give him a
Yeah,
10-minute
no,
go right ahead.
presentation, let him finish.
What you cannot do is use economics to deny the protection of a species or a protection of a habitat. If you read NEPA carefully, which is the National Environmental Policy Act, I teach environmental science. And, but what you can do is take economic considerations into account if they affect the community. And what I did is I Xeroxed the section of the code, and here it is. It talks about, I'm going to read this with you if you want to pass these out. And I underlined in red, and if you look at the first, the third paragraph there, what it's saying, the definition of effects, and that's pertaining to a part of NEPA as it affects on the quality of the human environment, includes changes in the human environment that are aesthetic, historic, cultural, economic, or social. So economic impacts to the community can be considered, but not economic impacts to species. Okay, in other words, if a farmer finds or a developer finds the kangaroo rat on their property, they cannot say, well, I'm going to lose $10 million now. It's too bad, you're going to lose your $10 million, but we got to protect the kangaroo rat. And then if you look down at the very bottom down there, it says that economic and social effects by themselves do not require preparation of an EIS, and that's where you're right. But it goes on to say that when an EIS is prepared, and economic or social effects are interrelated with effects on the natural or physical environments, then such effects must be considered. So in other words, they were required to consider economic impacts to the city of Duarte and the San Gabriel Valley, which they didn't do. It's not in that EIR. Okay, so that's a violation of the law. And furthermore, this impact was the one impact that was not mitigatable. In other words, there were no mitigations for this. And so this is a hit that the city of Duarte, the city of Azusa, city of Glendora, and the San Gabriel Valley is going to absorb. We're going to absorb an economic hit. Because if you go to the beach, properties are high because it's a great environment. The properties of the foothill communities are high because of the San Gabriel Mountains. You have a beautiful car. You just bought a sports car. What happens if somebody goes by with a key and they key the side of your car? Oh, it's just one little scratch. But it denigrates the value of that car immediately. This is going to denigrate the value of all the property in the San Gabriel Valley. When you go over to the city of Azusa and you look at the scarring on that mountain, it is horrendous, and it's gotten a lot worse in the last 15 years. And that denigrates and lowers the Azusa property values tremendously. Okay, so there is a real economic impact that is going to occur with this.
And I just
Yes.
want to make one point. Think
Yeah.
this would ever happen over in Brentwood, Malibu, all this
Their
other-
lawyers are a little more expensive.
That's absolutely right. They're not going to let their property values go into the toilet.
Right, so you won't see this in Sierra Madre. You won't see this in Pasadena or Altadena or Monrovia. They bought up the land, and they have done whatever they can to stop this because this is a severe economic impact. Now, what my PowerPoint shows is an estimation of what those monetary impacts are going to be.
Agree?
Yeah, let's go ahead and
Okay, how do I turn off the other lights? Or do I? I don't know, is it gonna work? Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
So, any kind of property devaluation is an estimate. So you have to take these numbers into consideration as estimates. And if we just went through this horrible economic recession, we lost 30 to 40% of our home values in the valley. So these damages aren't as severe, but okay, the beautiful San Gabriel Mountains add value to all the homes, properties, and dwelling units in the San Gabriel Valley. Well, Vulcan and the people that prepared this environmental impact report completely discounted this.
That's because they live in Alabama.
Fortunately, the draft environmental impact report does not address the loss of property value. Okay, the draft environmental impact report found that the 80-acre expansion of the quarry to the west will have substantial adverse effects on the scenic vista for Duarte residents, and these negative impacts cannot be avoided. That's right there in the environmental impact report. The only thing that can't be avoided are these impacts to the viewscape. Okay, university research studies have shown that environmentally undesirable operations such as surface mining can suppress property values from 3 to 8%. And those numbers are based on the research that I did, and I have documents to support that, with more expensive properties close to the operation suffering the larger percent loss. What kind of loss can we expect with the extraction of the use of rock quarry? Again, approximately 3,000 Duarte homes will suffer from a degraded viewscape. Assume a 6% home value loss on the average price of homes in the Fish Canyon, Las Lomas, and Mesa neighborhoods. Okay, so at the time, just a few years ago, before we took the hit, average home values of $490,000, and that is $29,400 loss per home, with a total loss from North Duarte at $88 million. That's a huge sum of money, if you're willing to accept, that figure. Now, maybe the figure is larger than that, maybe the figure is smaller than that. But this was never brought up. 5,500 Duarte homes will suffer indirectly from the mining expansion, the same with 2%, which is a lot less because they don't have the same view that the North Duarte homes have. On average, price homes below Royal Oaks, City of Duarte, $270,000 average home value, $5,400 loss per homes. For south of Duarte, $27 million hit to the home values in the city of Duarte. Properties throughout the San Gabriel Valley will suffer a small value loss, 800,000 dwellings, okay, because, you buy into the San Gabriel Valley, one of the nicest places in the country, if not the world, to live. You assume a 0.1% home value loss on the average price of homes in the San Gabriel Valley, $580,000. That's a $580 loss per home, or $464 million loss to the San Gabriel Valley as a whole. That's a lot of money. Total property value loss of the city of Duarte and the San Gabriel Valley, $573 million. A $500 million loss. And this is something that it's subtler. It's not like measuring things, like particulates and things like that. It's more of a subtle loss, but we all know it exists, and yet it wasn't even addressed. And of course, Vulcan didn't want me to present these numbers. The draft environmental impact report completely ignores the loss of property value, and will be borne by the residents of Duarte and the San Gabriel Valley. Okay, and
Nice, we finally get to see it. 2 days.
but check out NEPA. The economic impact.
And now I got it to turn on.
Yeah, the economic impacts must be in an environmental impact report if it affects the community.